Yeah. Yeah. Not here to make you happy, not here to make you sad. Your feelings are irrelevant when debates are to be had. The Belfast Bapcast, loud and clear, covering the topics of the sphere, Working overtime to bring you many stories, waking up today the same labor and Tories. A stage, it isn't our art to play, is bringing you knowledge in this way. No filter, no fuss, just tell unfiltered fact, much like the words on those Christian tracks.
So welcome to another edition of Belfast Bapcast, and this evening we are joined by Jo Jarvie.
Hello.
Welcome, how are you?
I'm good, yeah, feeling good.
It's good to hear. So you are obviously a comedian, but a lot more than that, so we're going to dig in a wee bit this evening.
Okay.
So first of all, we're just going to go into comedy and stuff first. So what made you first step on stage? Was it like something that happened, or did you just slow it?
Well, I was a very, very shy kid, and my mum put me in drama club on a Saturday, and I attended that for 10 years, fell in love with it, and was always active in drama and being on stage. So I already had that kind of stage confidence from a very, very young age. But it wasn't until I went to Middlesex University that I actually discovered stand-up. I always loved watching stand-up, but I never, and I mean never in a million years, thought that I would be a stand-up comedian. It just wasn't. I was happy just being the joker of the class and the clown, and
Having a bit of crack.
Yeah, 100%.
So where was your first stand-up?
My first gig was at uni.
Okay.
So the part of the course was we had to write a 10-minute set over the semester, and we would do it in a very well-known London comedy club, the King's Head, and that was my first 10-minute set, and it was baptism of fire. Let's just say it was an incredible experience.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, it really was.
And then from there, where did it progress?
Yeah, it progressed to Edinburgh. I was up with another show and doing support for people. You meet so many people in Edinburgh. You schmooze and do all that sort of stuff, and ended up opening for Ed Byrne and all these other comedians who kind of just fell off the wayside. But of course, with Edinburgh, it's like I was in my early 20s and there was booze everywhere, and I loved partying. I loved drinking. I was always the last one to leave or find the afters, or so it was. I embarrassed myself in front of some pretty big names, and needless to say, haven't seen or spoken to them since.
Did you find it tough being a female in comedy?
Yeah.
To start off?
Yeah. Well, when we were in university, I was quite sheltered because there were other girls doing it, but I've always been quite, I wouldn't say masculine, but I can match the energy of a bloke. I was brought up by my dad. I have a brother. We go to football. My first job was in a warehouse.
Simple energy to match.
Well, I didn't want to say,
we're not very complex beings.
But that's what I love. It's just black and white. I can't deal with this whole, I say this, but don't tell this person, because secret girl code is that if I tell you something, you're not allowed to say it to someone else. But I'm like, but you did say it. So why, what's the secret? I don't get it. I don't understand. The whole dynamic of girlhood confuses me. I need a rule book.
Yeah, it seems to change and it's interchangeable.
Yeah.
Also. So I don't think there's much chance to try and understand it.
I just can't. I have very, very good female friends that I would nearly count as family, but yeah, it's just, it would take a lifetime to understand a woman. It really would.
Well, I would say probably don't try.
No, I've given up.
I tried to. What's the fucking point? Really?
Yeah.
Too complex for me.
I can't even understand myself some days.
Now, you took a long break.
Yeah.
I believe, in comedy. Was that due to the partying or?
Yeah, so it was 2014. I was at the Tony Awards in New York, and again, with these huge parties, it's unlimited alcohol, unlimited food, absolutely everything was just given to you. And I wasn't interested in anything else. I was in the award ceremony just itching to get at the after party. And just, and I've got incredible stories from that night. But as the night progressed, it got worse, and it was just carnage, absolute carnage. And, in recovery, we always talk about the guilt, shame, and remorse of what happened when we were using and and that I had the following, it just wasn't.
It's a double-edged sword because obviously if you do something heinous or you have to take responsibility for it, but in a lot of ways for flipping the actions you're not really overly responsible. That is drunk you,
Yeah.
It's you minus inhibitions, and we've all done regrettable shit when we're
there was three things actually that kind of stuck with me. One, I sat on the lap of Alan Menken, who wrote most of the big hit Disney songs of Little Mermaid and everything else, and I sat on his lap singing one of his songs completely out of key, and his wife was horrified. And
at least you tried.
I mean, I don't even know what was going through my mind at that point.
What song was it?
It was Part of Your World.
Can you try again? No.
I couldn't.
No, I'm not.
No. Quick, and I might give it a go.
That's a horrible thing to do, but so all these things are embarrassing. Obviously, after at the time you think it's the most amazing thing in the world.
And but as I got more, let's say, inebriated, because I was, by that point, I put myself in a very dangerous position, and if I wasn't that drunk or that wasted, paralytic, whatever you want to call it, the events of that night would not have happened. And I was traumatized. I was just, fight or flight, and I flew.
It's beautiful that you've actually that way, because there's so many people attribute things that happen to them in that state.
No matter what state I'm in, you shouldn't blah blah blah.
To external resources, but if people are going with the flow and they're perceived whatever, that's a very grey area. And what you said right there, if you had not been in that situation, you would never have made decisions.
I mean, unfortunately, it wasn't. It was quite a aggressive encounter, but I can only speak from my situation. And from my situation, the girl that you see now, who's very strong in herself and everything else, and like I said, I grew up around blokes. I know how to fight. My dad taught me how to punch. If I was myself, that would not have happened, and I can say that with 100% certainty. But again, I can only speak from my perspective. I'm not saying that girls that go out and get drunk, it's because they were drunk.
No,
I'm not saying
obviously
that.
There's a contingent of people that are looking for it.
That person is still the villain in the story. But it's another thing in recovery. You have to learn to take accountability, of your actions, and what part did you play?
Yeah, obviously, I have no idea of the details, and I don't really want to know the details. But you don't consent to everything. Do you know what I mean?
No, it was very, very. It was. I can't stress enough how non-consensual it was. It was horrific. It was, the police in New York were amazing. He had my passport, and they helped me find him and get my passport back. And another thing was, he was very, very rich man. He was top of Broadway, so he could buy and there was this Broadway play called A Raisin in the Sun, and it was booked out it was just because it had Denzel Washington in it. And I was like, I wish I had tickets. he somehow, through some miracle, and I don't know how, but got 2 tickets for that. Now there was Magic Johnson was in the stalls waving to everyone. There was just celebrities in this place, and he got us tickets, and I couldn't enjoy it. I don't even know why I went. It was just I was in robot mode. That I don't know. I couldn't explain it.
Yeah.
And then he said, completely. And he said to me, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, I've just done this for you.
And the person you're describing here, he's clearly just used to getting what he wants and not really dealing with any consequences for it. So he's
tip of the iceberg on Broadway. I don't know if it's changed now, but Casting Couch, all of that stuff, very much was. But this is before Me Too.
Yeah, everybody's very aware of that side of things now, and like not even just females, it's males.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
And even more so, like they're being compromised to go against like their sexual orientation, etc., just to get certain parts. And like, that's a soul tie right there that you're not getting rid of.
But that's the dice you roll, because we forget that we have free will. But when you want something so bad, they play on the naivety, I think.
And is anything really that worth it? You know what I mean? Like,
as speaking with my mind and what I know today, absolutely not. Speaking as a 23, 24-year-old who was on Broadway walking red carpets, it's...
Yeah, I think like naivety, you're like dazzled by all the glitz and the glamour and the people that you're seeing. And
it was that thing of, look at me. You said, because I had a child at 19 when I was in university, and they were like, that's you. High-rise council flat, no future, no career, on benefits, rest of your life. And I was like, really? I'll show you. Tell me I can't do something again. Tell me I can't do something, and then I'll show you that I can.
Yeah.
And so I just went all in. And I was like, not only will I do it, but I will do it better than everyone else. That was my mentality.
What sort of roles were you getting at this time? Or were you just like singing?
It was more, I was getting more into producing at that point. So there was a really big show, and actually, do you know Adam Kay, the doctor who wrote This Is Going to Hurt? He went to Disney and he had a lot of money and was helping move a play or musical from Broadway to the West End, and it was this whole season of the West End wanted to revamp, they wanted new things. So I went in with the team to transfer Kinky Boots from Broadway to the West End. And as someone obviously from London, they had a lot of Americanisms in it, and I was sort of giving feedback of like, well, we wouldn't say that, we wouldn't say sidewalk, we wouldn't, and that was the reason why I was in New York at that time, and also to get into the Broadway League, which is this club. Basically, anyone is on this. I met like the leader of Broadway Disney, who was wearing, and I shit you not, a white and red pinstripe suit with thick glasses. I was like, you look like you just walked out of fucking Mary Poppins, mate. What are you doing?
Or a barber shop.
Swear to, I was like, just walking Disney, mate.
Well, I suppose like you can.
He's the brand, do you know? If they're paying him millions a year, like pay me millions a year. I'll wait up for the fuck you want.
Well, this is it. But obviously, you find out amongst all this glitz and glamour, that very unfortunate situation happened.
It's with maturity that you realise that nothing is worth your mental peace. Nothing is worth that. And there's loads of kids going about today with social media and this and that, and it's robbing their peace, it's robbing their sleep, they bad mental health, it's just a spiral. And they're
judging themselves against very, very unrealistic expectations as well.
It's an impossible reach. It's impossible. They're set up to fail.
With a generation, and even our generation to a certain extent, sort of like, why do you give a fuck about people that don't know you?
No, I know.
I don't understand that. Like,
I don't know how it got to this point, because I remember Facebook, it was like my name and then and then you were like,
Bebo was where it should have been.
Do you know what? Actually, at Bebo, but even the top 10 friends, and it was like, why was I moved down to like number 4?
That started fucking beefs.
Yeah.
But like Bebo's where it should have ended.
Yeah.
Like, enough, and now like you've got instant access to everybody and everything.
It's crazy.
24/7, and like any business or brand that you have, you're kind of compelled to.
You have to. It's the only way now. I hate social
and
media.
It is the only way. Well, I do it. It's a double-edged sword. I hate the fact that I have to do something, but I love the fact that it's a free business tool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that there's so many dynamics that you can use as marketing as well. You know, that you don't have to just stick to one by it.
Yeah.
But back to yourself, when do you realize you're starting to lose control of stuff like drinking, partying, or was it just that one moment you're like, fuck?
No, I didn't blame. Ironically, I blamed everything else before I blamed the booze. So I blamed the career, I blamed the man, I blamed the country, I blamed everyone. I was the type of drinker who would blame absolutely everything until I was on my knees and had to look at myself. And it got to that point when my husband left, and it was like I was out of that role of getting up, getting the school run, making these dinners and doing this and going to weddings together and putting up this appearance and everything else. And the person he was on the outside, like everyone else saw, was not the person that was in that house. And it was very, very hard to talk to anybody because he's from here. So all of his friends, he went to church, so all of his church friends, everyone was just like, oh, your wife. It was never my name. I was your wife or your daughter-in-law, you know.
I think most people have like a outward persona to a degree. I genuinely don't.
Neither do I.
But like most people I know sort of like curtail their personality to a certain degree, and do sense themselves or whatever, not else. But like whenever it's a complete diametric opposite, you know, is that what you mean? Like, you know, you put like this. Like,
it was mood more. The mood would switch like that.
Just
like we'd have a great day, and all of a sudden he would be so angry, so moody, slamming things, shouting, and it's like, you were fine. Like half an hour. What happened? So, yeah.
Never got abusive or anything. No, just not being bastard.
Unfortunately, I was advised by. I'm so involved with my kids growing up. I always made sure I wasn't working in the early years, and I would go to Home Start a lot, and have the home visits and meet the mums and everything else. And the head of County Down Home Start came out to my house, and my ex-husband took the day off work to be there, and she had to force him out of the room to talk to me. She said, "I think you need to go to Women's Aid." And I was like, no. He's just overprotective. He just wants to make sure that I'm okay because I'm like weird people coming into the house. And it was like everyone saw it before I did. I just thought he was just such a protector, that he just wanted the best for me and he wanted to be there if I needed him. And that's the way it works. It got to the point where it ground me down so much that I felt like I needed him to survive. I needed him to live. And that's when the dark thoughts started coming in. And he took out an insurance policy on me. Mm-hmm.
That's dark.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Mm-hmm.
Like, didn't talk to you about it, just took it out.
Yeah, I didn't know until he left. Until, when you go through the divorce and it's a full disclosure, that's when I found out.
So you could read into that and kind of think he was banking on something grim.
The worst he did, in my eyes, the worst he did was my eldest isn't his, he has autism, held him up by his throat, would make loud noises to make him cry, because when you shout at my son, he doesn't register, he's like, noise. But to get a reaction and to get him to cry and, wants to see him suffer, he would he would slam things and make loud noises and do things like that, just to vindictive shit, like really, really vindictive shit. I mean, my friends will say the worst thing he ever did was run me over, but that is because they didn't see him at home. So,
Okay.
I thought you were supposed to be giving me curveballs.
So he run you over?
Yeah, it was more the fact that, my dad said, anytime he gives you jip, you ring me. and he was giving me jip, and I rang him, and he ran away to the car, and I was like, I held onto the door, and his window was open, and I said, talk to my dad. I was like, you can't run away from this. Stop. You need to stop hiding who you really are. And he just sped off. I spun, and the back of his car hit my ankle, and I was screaming on the phone to my dad. My dad was in another country. He couldn't do it. He was like, Jo, go to the hospital. Go to the hospital. I said, no, I can't. I knew what was going to happen. They were going to call the police. I said, no, I can't. He said, go to the hospital. Lo and behold, the nurses saw the injuries. The nurses called the police. The nurses did everything. I didn't do anything. They coaxed me, very well trained, and got me to not confess, but tell them the events that had happened. They went on a whole patrol because they see my injuries, which, you know, correlated with my story, you know. So they were looking for Ring doorbell cameras, but in the end, we lived in a cul-de-sac. It was a quiet neighborhood. Like, no one saw anything. It was his word against mine. They said, look, the PPS isn't going to have to do anything. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, that's grim as fuck. Was that the moment then that you left?
He'd already left by that point. Yeah, he was picking up the kids. He used to, when he first left, he used to come over to the house, make me either stay in my bedroom or leave so he could spend time with the kids. And I chose to leave, and I went to my friend Hannah's house every Tuesday night for months, crying my eyes out. That's how much he broke me down. That's how much I was not the person you're looking at today. I was a shell. Yeah.
Obviously, you're going to be increasing towards some form of crutch at that point. So
yeah, because
drink was your crutch.
Yeah, massively.
Had it already spiraled massively at this point, or
there were signs of it? Like, I would not just drink a drink. I would go. So I would either not drink or I'm getting blackout drunk. You know, there was no social drinking for me. I remember, you know, he was sort of the person who would be like, let's buy a bottle of wine. I'd be like, for you, and one for me. And he'd be like, can't you just? But I was like, but that's just a glass and a half. I was like, what are you? Like, no. And I just couldn't stop. It was just, I couldn't get it into me quick enough, you know. And it was until I would nearly pass out that I'd be done. You know, and if I wasn't done and close to going to sleep or whatever, and I would just make myself sick and just to get more into me. It was horrendous.
It does, to a large degree, do the job of numbing stuff.
100%. But also it is a depressant.
It exemplifies things at times as well.
It makes traumas or things that you're going through, emotions, 10 times worse as well, especially the hangovers that everyone talks about, the anxiety.
Fear,
yeah. Well, mine was, I want to kill myself. I am crawling out of my skin.
So what was the process of building back out of that? Like, obviously you've had to go through recovery, etc. But like, what was the process of you building yourself back?
It was a long road. So it was April 2021. And I don't know how I got the number. I don't know how I got the email address or whatever it was. I was blind drunk, driving. I drove to work I was a delivery driving for a Chinese at the time. And I turned up blind drunk. And the girl behind the counter, lovely, lovely woman, known her for years. She was like the mummy of the Chinese, you know, one of them. And she was like, you look like you're on drugs. And I was so offended because I was like, I wouldn't do drugs. Like, I was a mess, absolute mess. And she was like, get out, you're done. And I was like, fuck you, fuck your job, fuck the rest. Went and got more wine. 100%. I was like, I'm here to do work and you're fucking your night up because I'm the only delivery driver. Our ego was hanging out of me. It was horrendous. It was so... It's shameful, but
there are things that you're kind of not responsible for, though. You would never do that sober, you know. Like, no, most would have a bit more decorum sober. You know.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Yeah.
So you can't really.
But I got another bottle of wine into me. Drove to Newcastle. Drove onto a slipway, and I just sat there and I just waited for the tide to come in. And I was like right at the bottom of the slipway, and I got a phone call from someone in AA and said, you know, a little bit about AA and things like that. And I was like, I don't understand. I was like, I'm on a slipway. I'm done. And she begged me to come onto it. It was all Zoom then, so because of the pandemic. So she begged me to come onto a Zoom call. And I did. And now I know years later, and I still see these people and everything else. And like anytime I do a chair or a share or anything else, and a lot of people share back to me saying they were on that meeting and they, hand on heart, if they were a betting man, I would have died that night. That they've seen people come into these rooms and die, and they were like, we just thought you were just another one, and we could have put £1,000 on it that you were going to die, that you were going to, you weren't going to make it.
How do we allow things to spiral so much? You know, like,
yeah,
especially having kids there as well. You know?
Yeah, well, they were with their dad, and he moved in with his parents over the pandemic, so it was really hard. And I was with my eldest. My eldest stayed with me. My 2 younger kids went to go and live literally around the corner. Like you can walk there in like 30 seconds. Went to go and live there, and I was FaceTiming them every day and things like that. And
is it really?
Oh my God, don't. But he knows they're my life, and he knows that they're the way to hurt me. So, you know, and I get Fathers for Justice. I get there's evil women out there that use children as weapons, but there is a lot to say recently. You know, there's been meetings in Stormont about this, of men using women's mental health or problems as reasons to keep their children away from them. Vindictively.
Yeah, this country especially.
Women have killed themselves over it. And I get it, because children with a mother is just totally different to children with a father. It's been proven, you know, and it's like an extension of yourself. It's like you're grieving for someone who's still alive. You know, it's...
Well, like, I think that's why the court's default position is child with the mother, you know.
No, it's not.
You know.
It's really not these days. Not in my experience with women that I've spoken to. The courts and the system side with what's easy. No matter what. I mean, put it this way. They knew my ex-husband was, I was being cancelled by Women's Aid. They knew he was up, because he used to do the door as well, and he was up multiple times for abuse against women, and they took him to court, and it got through to court, and he stood up in court. You know, so it had to get through PPS. Okay. And that was twice. He was up in court for abuse and violence against women. There was just so much, but he had a girlfriend who was stable. So as long as she was there, he could have them.
Was because you were drinking?
That really didn't even come into it. It was more mental health. I was stigmatized because of... You all right?
Sorry.
You're fine. I was stigmatized because of the mental health side of addiction. They didn't really know the extent of the addiction. I hid it very well because it was COVID. It was so easy to hide it.
So it was more being diagnosed as mental health as opposed to an alcohol problem?
I was so misdiagnosed. And then when I wasn't doing the programs or the doctors and things like that, it wasn't working. It's because it wasn't working, because it wasn't what was wrong with me.
Yeah,
you know, and they were saying that I wasn't engaging. And I was like, but it's not working, you know, because they didn't have the answer.
So where did the build back start? Like how you were sitting on the slipway, you had this phone call.
Yeah, got stuck into recovery.
What 21? 2021, you said it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say I was 21. I was like, hell no, I was not 21.
2021.
Yeah.
How long before sobriety started? Because I know that, like, initially it's almost like a drug.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh,
yeah. You're on a pink cloud. Yeah.
And like when did it sort of like normalize out, and you know, you're just like going through daily stuff. And you're just sober. That is.
The thing about it was that the hard part was that life was still life, and learning to deal with my emotions and my reactions to things that were happening in life. You know, my ex didn't go away. The system didn't go away. All the problems, bills, everything else didn't go away. You know, I had to face up to a lot of crap. And doing that without a crutch was very difficult.
Accountability sucks sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the important part of being an adult, but
I know.
Not to focus too much on the grim times. So when did you make a decision from sober to get back on stage?
Well, I signed up with an agency in Dublin for film and TV.
Okay.
So I thought, and again, stand-up wasn't really in my thing. It was always acting. And I got a lot of jobs. I did 2 Hallmark films. I did a couple of BBC series, and I did loads of work with them. I did an advert for a hotel down in Dundalk.
Were you concerned about going back into that environment?
I mean, it wasn't really, because it was just set. So it was all just cameras and lights and things like that. It wasn't really, you know, because it was film, I'd only ever done stage. So film, and I didn't, because I was only ever a feature, I was never a part of like a season wrap party or a film wrap party, because I was only in like 1 or 2 scenes.
Okay.
So it was easier that way.
Not as involved.
No, definitely not. So yeah, I just got back into it that I caught the bug, and then sort of my mental health dipped a bit because of the courts and everything else that was going on. So I sort of pulled back from it a little bit, and I got into a really toxic situation with somebody and fell pregnant by someone who was seemingly infertile. And I am extremely, like, you just have to hold my hand and I'm pregnant. I'm so fertile. They should do studies on me. It's not even fucking normal. I swear to God. And I, unfortunately, well, the guy I was seeing has Huntington's, low on the scale, but if it's passed from the father, it accelerates. So I was freaking out. He wanted a termination because he'd lost a son before, at full term, and horrendous for anyone to go through that. And I understood his standpoint, but I said, I'm going to go through with it. I was psychotic at the time with the hormones and everything going on, and I was very deceitful just to try and protect myself selfishly from the emotions I had for him, and from knowing the lack of emotion he had for me, and sought help from Huntington's, and I got into contact. And she was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Went to the groups, had information, was given books, you know, they really got involved with me because of the situation. Because with Huntington's, you can either find out in utero, or when the child's born, it has to be 18. So it was kind of like, do it now or wait till they're 18. So I said, just do it now and we'll figure it out on the way. And tested positive. And went to a meeting straight after I got that, and was inconsolable at that. I was asked if the baby was viable. I said, absolutely. Like, there's no question about it. Like, you know, it was just trying to navigate this. And I was talking to my friends, you know, and getting support from them. And I was talking to my other friend who has had 2 premature babies, and saying, at what point did you go into labor again? When were they born? Because I felt off. I felt really, really off. I was 27 weeks and 2 days, and went into labor and went down to the hospital, scanned, and I just saw the face drop. And she was like, just won't be a moment. Just going to go and get someone to check something. I was like, right, okay. And a doctor come in, a consultant, and said just the words, I'm so sorry. I don't remember anything else after that. I was...
Well, I don't imagine what it felt like for you, because
it was... The only way I could actually find the words to describe it was a hot iron on your chest that you can't take off.
Just inconsolable fucking pain.
Yeah. It was... My eldest son named him. He named him Henry. And I was so broken and so not with it. He was born the 13th of June and I couldn't have the funeral until September. I was gone. I don't remember those months at all.
Did you go back running or just
no? I just was gone. I from accounts from my friends and stuff, I would be sitting because I had everything in. I had the cot in, I had the car seats, the bouncer, everything, you know. And my friends came in, and I got a kitten randomly, and they said I was just in the living room in the complete darkness, curtains shut, lights off, rocking with the Moses basket, rocking in darkness, and I don't remember that. The bereavement midwives are brilliant, absolutely incredible. They sent me a book, but I couldn't even read my own name, let alone a book at that point. You know, it was just, and the girl Katie from Huntington's and I came to the funeral as well, which I thought was really special. It was so sad that sometimes you have to pay the clergy for the funerals. My funeral was Henry's funeral was completely free. The funeral home said no charge. The priest, no charge. Absolutely, everyone rallied around me because I think they just saw how broken I was, and it was just like I was on my own, and
how the fuck do you bounce back from that? Or crawl back or
I think it was around Christmas I relapsed because I was ready to have him for Christmas and he wasn't there. So that was, the pain got too much.
Christmas brings home a lot for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's mad because I still love Christmas. I still love it. Yeah, but it's emotional.
Where you just think of everything.
Yeah.
It should be.
Yeah. Horrible. My dad hates it. He fucking loathes it.
Fuck you, fairly.
See, I bet no one's ever fucking done that, have they?
Yeah. Just absolutely horrible. But I know you were at a gig last night for a time.
Yeah. Complete honour. Darren Matthews, who organised it, his son was born at 29 weeks. And because of what I had been through, I automatically, when he said that he was in the NICU, he wasn't well, because we didn't see him for a while. And I just went, oh, I'm so sorry, thinking he died. And I was like, no, actually, babies do survive in the NICU. It was just Henry. He just wasn't. Yeah, we don't know if
what would it's quality of life been like as well?
Well, this is it.
There's so many what ifs and so many questions. Just obviously then you have a lot of source material for comedy.
Oh yeah, I told a joke last night, which actually everyone laughed, and then they went, "Ooh!" I was like, "We shouldn't be laughing at this."
The fascism is fantastic.
It is, yeah, definitely.
What was that joke?
Suppose, yeah, everything goes here, doesn't it?
It does.
I said, now I'm not going to do up the timing and everything, and obviously the atmosphere is different. But I said I've got 3 children, and you know how you have, the favorite child, and maybe the one disappointment. I said I had my son Henry at 27 weeks and 3 days. So obviously I know the great work that Tiny Life do, and this is why I'm so honored to be here. But unfortunately, he's the biggest disappointment because he had one fucking job, and that was breathing. So yeah, bit of a letdown, really.
It's right up my street. But after the story, it's
I know.
So let's bring it back in the room. Your first time back on stage. How did it come about?
I was recently sober again. I got sober on the 20th of August, 2024, last year. And I was going through the withdrawals again. Now, when I relapsed after that Christmas, I got on cocaine hard. It was like my addiction took off another level, and it was then drink and drugs because then it was just, I was sick of the cocaine. So then I started pills, and then it was just, I was sleeping on a dirty mattress on the floor in my house, no curtains, bottles everywhere. It was just a hovel. I was just, the only thing different between me and someone who was, you know, on the street was a roof. You know, I could very well have, you could have picked me up and put me on Castle Street and I'd be exactly the same as everyone else. We're all the same, you know.
I think that's the point. We are all the same.
Yeah.
Different circumstances.
100%. Yeah.
And like, I think no matter how people get in life, I just don't understand how.
I mean, look at it. Right, look at Bruce Willis. Look at Michael J. Fox. You know, all the fame and everything they had. Their health is their wealth, and like Bruce can't even remember being an actor.
It's horrible.
What's it all for? Do you know what I mean?
It's for nothing, really. If you're not like good to those around you, and, you know.
Exactly. But he was a good. Well, I presume they're good people because they're surrounded by friends and family. So, not nice people usually aren't. You know. So
you got sober in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Were you offered a gig or what happened?
No, I saw a sponsored Facebook ad for an open mic.
See on Facebook ads.
Yeah, so it was
trying comedy.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah. And I seen, you know, like some Shane Todd, it was it, William Thompson, and I was just like, and it said open mic, sign up on the door, and I just went, and I was looking at this for weeks now. It was weeks, and I was looking at it, and when the voice got so loud in my head to do it that I couldn't ignore it, that's when I just thought, fuck it, I have to do it, just to even close the chapter, you know.
Yeah.
And I went down. The lineup was full, but the guy on the door put me on last minute. He was like, he squeezed me in for 5 minutes, and I was like, oh fuck, I have to do this. I was more than happy with like, your fault, no problem, mate. I'll watch, you know. But he squeezed me on because I was standing up on the door and I hadn't done stand up in Belfast before, and you know, it was all brand new material, and it was just did my 5 minutes. People laughed.
It's always good for stand up.
I know. The comedians were like, where did she come from? You know, and then they all said, are you coming back next week? Come back next week, you know, and then they put me on for the next week. And then I started making friends in there, and then I started writing more, and then it just snowballed. I was just going by what I was enjoying, what felt good. I was just following the path of what felt good at the time.
Focusing your energy on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think allowing yourself to succeed as well is a big thing.
Yeah.
Like,
the hardest thing was that it was always in bars.
Well, yeah, that's definitely going to be difficult.
Yeah.
But I think the first couple of times you do like anything sober in a bar,
yeah,
you realize, fuck me, I've actually a lucky break.
But looking around, most, I would say 90% of the comedians who are top game in this country don't drink. So I was like, they don't drink, I won't drink. Mindset, done. They're on the Ribenas, I'll be on the Ribenas, do you know? Obviously some do, you know, that's just their act, you know, who they are, and
yeah, I think
good for them. That's great. But for me, it was like, you know, I even recently gave up caffeine because it was Paddy McDonald. I was opening for him last year. I was at early this year, and he said, are you on the energy drinks? Do you drink energy drinks? Because I was drinking them flat out. And I said, yeah. And he was like, stop it. It was like, if I give you one piece of advice, stop the energy drinks, and you'll see the difference.
Yeah.
And I did, and I saw the difference, and I was like, okay. So I've been caffeine free from everything since April.
That's class.
Yeah. So I'm now off everything. Diet Coke used to be like my one vice, like for caffeine and coffee and things like that, but now I've got fuck all. I've got comedy.
Well, I mean but that's a whole avenue, really. Like,
yeah,
self-expression there. You've got the ability to tell your story through funny means. You know, you've the ability to observe the world around you. Well, I suppose now there is consequences for it, but largely there should be no consequences for just comedians being a comedian. You know?
Yeah.
Like, how dark is your humor? Pretty dark from the joke you told me there.
I mean, that's the darkest joke I've told. That is the darkest joke I've told. Mine is usually it's observational but eccentric, so it's kind of taking things to another level, you know. It's I'm leaking the girls group chat because we can be pretty fucking depraved and graphic when the girls, do you know what I mean? Like when girls get together and, you know, they think we're all demure and just fucking, we're worse than blokes, you know? And it's just the lunacy of being a woman and how.
What's the Northern Ireland crowd like?
Brilliant.
Easier, do you think? Or?
For me, yeah.
Yeah.
I started gigging in Dublin down south quite a lot, and learned very quickly that it's more of an international crowd. Yeah. So local Irish jokes and things like that wasn't going to land, you know. Whereas all that sort of hack Catholic Protestant stuff works so well up here. Yeah. Like they fucking eat that shit up. And yeah, do you know what I mean? And went down south and I was like, this is where the big boys play. Okay, this is where we write the tours. This is where we write something for everyone, for every country, for every audience.
Yeah, well.
And that's what got me into writing my show and made it, you know, made it so I can adapt it to where I am, you know. So it was great to get out of Belfast.
It's not just telling jokes either. It's like it's a whole performance. Like as you said, like we call that joke the timing and stuff's not there.
Yeah, like, yeah.
It's a craft.
Yeah, and it's also the build-up, you know, the setup, and it's everything.
Or like linking it back to like a story that you told at the
start. The callback. Yeah.
I don't think people really truly appreciate the art of stand-up comedy. Maybe so now.
It looks so effortless, doesn't it?
Well, if you're meant to do it, yes, it does. But I've seen some fucking horrendous like attempts as well, you know, and like. There's people who think they're funny and it doesn't necessarily translate to stage.
Yeah. And there's always the ones that go, oh, I could do that. I could do stand-up. I'm funny. And I always say to them, please come to an open mic. I will pay for your drinks. Please come.
Like, just to even watch their soul disintegrate to realize that everyone's watching.
Yeah.
Like,
no one's laughing.
Yeah. People like the reality of it too. Like it's like it's a fantastic payoff, but like if you bomb, it's
you feel every inch of it.
Like even if you're just in the room with a comedian that bombs, you're just like, oh fuck.
Yeah, secondhand embarrassment.
Oh, it's horrible. So like, have you felt that? Have you been in that situation?
Of course I have. Oh my, yeah, I've bombed horrendously.
Character building, I'm pretty sure.
And do you know what Ed Sheeran puts it the best? He says that he doesn't progress or learn from his successes. He progresses and learns from his failures. And I started strategically bombing in venues that I knew I could get away with bombing in. And it has made me an even better sport in the whole thing. And it's definitely sharpened me and grown me some very thick skin.
Who you are? There's like 2-3 other female comedians, really.
Yeah, so big ones would be Diona Doherty, Serena Terry. You've got big southern ones. A great up and coming female comedian is Wafa Dowdall. She's flying. She was on Tea With Me and everything else. I was at her first gig. And I knew we were going to be, I hadn't seen her perform, but just the way we were talking and stuff like that, I was like, we're going to be friends. I was like, I don't care if you bomb up there. I was like, we're going to be friends.
You just know certain people.
Yeah. She was brilliant. And yeah.
So what sort of venues and stuff are you doing now? Like you're only into this a year, mind you. So.
I know. So I've done the Empire twice. I did Lavery's once. I am doing Whelan's down south, which is a big club down south, Crackden, all of that sort of stuff. I've done the Comedy Store. I'm doing Glee again, the Glee Comedy Club in Birmingham in November. I was asked to be part of the Women in Comedy Festival in Manchester, which was a massive honour, which then led to me getting booked at the Frog and Bucket, which again is a huge comedy club over there. It just kind of is snowballing.
Just with all these opportunities as well and more will rise.
Yeah.
I've seen it for a year, to be honest.
Yeah.
Year and a bit.
Yeah, a very, very good friend of mine. He's MC Hammersmith. He's on tour. Get your tickets. But we were talking, where were we? We were at the Glee. And he was like, what you've done in such a short space of time. He was like, I've never seen it before.
Would you say, like in a lot of cases, well, my observation would be a lot of addicts are actually fucking geniuses, just haven't focused their energy on the right things. It's going to be very hard to admit this with yourself, but
I would say we have obsessions, and you swap one obsession for the other, but it's finding a healthy obsession. You'll find a lot of, for instance, in males, there's a high number of recovered males who are now into bodybuilding or into the gym and things like that, and calculating their macros, and it becomes a lifestyle, because we've swapped one life, because that's what alcoholism was for me. It was a lifestyle.
It consumes everything.
100 everything.
It's not just like going to the park anymore. It's about like how do I get a drink before I go to the park or whatever.
So it's about having a focus, having a routine, knowing what you're doing, and having that drive for an end goal. But the problem with that is that when you reach that end goal, it's like what's next, and that's the dangerous part.
So what do you have in place now for the next time something comes along that may not necessarily sit well with you? What have you got the coping mechanisms in place for disasters?
I don't talk about this a lot. And even my friends don't know this. Only I can count on, I think two people. Well, no, it's not that bad, but it's just an intimate part of me. And since 2020, only two friends of mine know this. I have listened to sermons every night without fail from the year 2020.
Any particular preacher?
Yeah, I listened to Stephen Furtick, Joyce Meyer, Todd White. I listen to the local churches. So Journey Church in Lisbon has a podcast and records their sermons.
You must start a real short, by the way.
Okay.
Todd White's the one that tends to make people's legs grow.
Jesus, haven't heard that now.
And then Joyce Meyer, she's a prosperity preacher.
She's more, she's more spiritual maturity. So when and it's just, I just hear morals and control your emotions, and I take all of the.
A lot of people in the world are looking for something spiritual and are looking.
I think everyone searches for something.
Chemicals.
I think it's in us.
Well, there's a whole needing plug there. I do believe it's Christianity, and I do believe it's Jesus. And like we do a lot and put ourselves through a lot to run away from it instead of just like.
See, what I always say to people who say to me, "Oh, it's a load of crap" or whatever, and I say, when things are going really, really wrong, what do? I'll pray. Pray to who? Or like, do you still believe in that? It's 2025. I went 2025 years since what?
Yeah. And it's also backed up by a lot of historical evidence as well. So it's not like it is.
But like I said, I mean, I don't go around preaching or whatever because it's my personal
But that's what it should be.
My God is in my head and my heart, and that's how I choose to live my life, and I choose to express that in my actions rather than my words.
But if we're not submitting to a higher power, like why would we not live like deviants? I mean, if we don't have someone like,
there's no morality then.
Not that in an ideal world you should not need an outside source, but then nobody in every situation is 100% perfect, and we will make deviant decisions at times.
Yeah.
But if we understand that we're living and there's a higher power above us, God, then maybe we'd be less inclined to do these things. And it's not a coping mechanism; it's a way of life.
Yeah.
And that's class. Really good. That's a lot more positive than sitting drinking 3 bottles of fucking wine.
Exactly, and it's about finding, and that's why everyone says, finding these obsessions is like going to the gym all the time is not going to kill you. Doing 1 million gigs a year, it's not going to kill me.
Well, the beautiful thing about, I think, the Northern Ireland comedy scene is it's very authentic. I think the guys that you see on stage are very authentic.
Yeah, they're very grounded, very happy to talk to everyone.
Pointed out that most of them are non-drinking as well. So it is authentic. It is authentic. Them. It's not, I'm going to get loaded up here and doing a performance. It is just those guys, and that's class. And one of the class group of people.
Yeah,
to surround yourself with as well.
Yeah, couldn't be involved with a better thing.
So, what is Jo doing moving forward? obviously staying sober or will knock you out.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I was actually asked because I was as you know, I was in hospital for 6 weeks, and thank you so much for sending me the food, because the hospital food was diabolical. So seeing Belfast Bapcast delivery coming in, I was like, I nearly cried. I was like, oh my god,
absolute pleasure,
amazing.
and tell your cardiologist.
Fuck. I forgot what I was saying now.
You were going to say about where Jo goes.
Yes. So I turned 1 year sober in August, and I was asked by my recovery group there's a huge convention next week actually in Galway, and I was asked to be the stand-up entertainment, if you will, for the whole of convention, for the island convention.
AA and NA cross paths, or is it all
no
separate?
it's all very separate, but it's the same program. The only difference I found, because I've done AA and I've done CA. I'm an active member in CA at the moment, which is Cocaine Anonymous, and that's the convention that I'm going to this next weekend. And there'll be 400 recovered addicts, you know, ranging from years of sobriety down to the newcomer. I swear to God. And yeah, that I was asked to do my show as entertainment in front of 400 fellows, which is a huge honor. It's amazing feeling.
Like, I think people don't understand when they're on a path of recovery. It's not linear, you know.
No.
There will be,
like I said, 2021, I started my recovery journey, and I've relapsed, and I've not handled things well, and I haven't done that. You know, it's just, I'm human, but I try every day to do things a bit better.
Jo, and that's the, you know, without flaws, we wouldn't have comedy.
Well, that's it.
You know what I mean? Without like imperfections in the world, we wouldn't have stuff to laugh at, and without the bad times, we wouldn't have you know.
Everyone needs comic relief.
We do, very much so, and it's such a good coping thing. Like, maybe to a degree, some use it too much. You know, like everything's a joke.
Yeah.
You know,
but that's when you know that there's more. Something is up. You know. Yeah.
Look, it's been absolutely fantastic. Digging right into the depths of your soul here today, and you brought me to
keep gigging, and I know I'm actually honoured. I'm just going to keep gigging, keep touring, and I'm enjoying the process. Check you out? On my Instagram page is where I'm most active, so Jo Jarvie Comedy.
And next gig, apart from the one.
Oh God, this week I think. Yeah, Thursday I'm down in Dublin, so I'm at Cherry Comedy in Dublin. I'm filming for an American TV show on the 17th and 18th. I'm going down to Dublin to see my lovely friend Aideen McQueen. She's got her show that I'm going down to see, and then I'm off to Galway.
That is fantastic. So, Jo Jarvie Comedy on Instagram, and thank you very much. Like, share, and subscribe. And that has.
Not here to make you happy, not here to make you sad. Your feelings are irrelevant when debates are to be had. The Belfast Bapcast, loud and clear, covering the topics others fear, Working overtime to bring you many stories. Waking up today, the same labor and Tories. A stage, it isn't our art to play. Is bringing you knowledge in this way. No filter, no fuss, just tell unfiltered fact. Much like the words on those Christian tracks.